Magandang araw! Sama-sama tayong matuto sa Teacher Sal Learning Resource Channel.
Revised K-12 Curriculum English 3 Quarter 1 Week 6. Have you heard about high frequency and content-specific words? When do you see or use these words? Can you give examples? Today, you will learn about how to recognize and use high frequency and content-specific words, signs in your own sentences. You will also read informational texts, note significant details, and identify problem or solution relationships. Lastly, you will work on your own writing skills. You will practice writing clear and organized texts that respond to a given topic. So, as we go through today's lesson, let us keep these goals in mind. Let's work together to achieve them and become even better learners and writers. First, let me ask you this question. What words do you see most often when you read? These are called high-frequency words because they appear often in reading text. Here are examples. The, and, is, of, to, you, said, for, on. Today, we will read a story about Emma, a student who loves exploring numbers and signs. But before we start reading the story, let us know the meaning of some unfamiliar words used in the story for a better understanding. Write the letter of the correct meaning of the underlined word on your drill board. In math, the place value of 3 in the number 2134 is the tens place. Based on this, what do you think place means? A location or position. B, a type of food. C, a color. You're right. The correct answer is letter A location or position. Science helps us understand how the world works. What do you think science means? A, the study of plants. B, the study of numbers. C, the study of the natural world. Very good. The correct answer is the study of the natural world. I use a special device to measure the length of the table. What do you think device means? A tool or gadget. B, a piece of clothing. C, a type of plant. You're right. The correct answer is letter A tool or gadget. Their journey took them across many countries and through many adventures. What do you think journey means? A short walk. B, a long trip or adventure. C, a type of vehicle. You're right. The correct answer is letter B, a long trip or adventure. In the experiment, they mixed two chemicals to see what would happen. Based on this, what do you think experiment means? A game. B, a scientific test. C, a type of food. You're right. The correct answer is letter B, a scientific test. Great job, everyone! Now we know the meaning of place, signs, device, journey, and experiment. These words will help us understand the story better and use them in our own speaking and writing. Now, read the questions which you will answer after reading the story. What number did Emma find on the board in the science lab? What did the teacher do to demonstrate an echo to Emma? What numbers did the teacher ask Emma to read in front of the class? Why do you think the undo device made learning more fun for Emma? How might Emma's understanding of place value help her with other numbers she encounters in the future? What did Emma learn from her journey through numbers and signs? Imagine you have an undo device like Emma. How would it help you in your learning? Provide an example. If you were to conduct an experiment to create an echo, what materials or places would you use to see the best results? Why? Now, let us read the story titled Emma's Science Adventure, The Magic of Numbers and Echoes. Listen attentively as I read the text and you will answer. In a science lab, a curious student named Emma wanted to understand the magic of numbers and signs. Emma had a special device that could undo mistakes, which made learning even more fun. One day, Emma found a number on the board, 1234. How do I read this? Emma wondered. The teacher explained, you read it as 1234. The place value of 4 is the ones place, 3 is in the tens place, 2 is in the hundreds place, and 1 is in the thousands place. Next, Emma saw an experiment with an echo. The teacher clapped her hands once, and after a moment, they heard the sound bounce back. That's an echo, the teacher said. Emma learned that an echo happens when sound waves hit a surface and come back. 4 is in the ones place. By understanding each digit's place value, Emma could read any 4-digit number. With the help of the undo device, Emma could correct any mistakes and try again. She practiced reading the numbers quickly and accurately, becoming faster each time. Emma's journey through numbers and signs was exciting, showing how once you start learning, the possibilities echo throughout everything you do. Now, let's check our understanding of the story by answering the following questions. What number did Emma find on the board in the science lab? Emma found the number 1234 on the board. What did the teacher do to demonstrate an echo to Emma? The teacher clapped her hands to show how sound bounces back to make an echo. Why do you think the undo device made learning more fun for Emma? The undo device made learning fun because Emma could fix her mistakes and try again. What did Emma learn from her journey through numbers and signs? Emma learned how to read numbers and how sound works in signs. Imagine you have an undo device like Emma. How would it help you in your learning? Provide an example. If I had an undo device, it would help me fix my mistakes in math, like when I solve a problem wrong. If you were to conduct an experiment to create an echo, what materials or places would you use to see the best results? Why? I would go to a big empty hallway or use a wall in the mountains because sound bounces well there. Good job, everyone! Now, let us talk about the high frequency and content-specific words used in the story. Can you identify those words? Write them down on your paper or notebook. Then, let us read them together. List down the words on the board and let the learners read each word. Below is a list of high-frequency words, those commonly found in early reading texts that appear in the story. A, and, the, in, to, on, off. It, she, her, was, by, that, how, you, all, any. Here are some examples of content-specific words found in the story, particularly related to science and mathematics. Science lab, numbers, undo device, place value, ones place, tens place, hundreds place, thousands place, echo, experiment, sound waves. Do you have these words on your list? Good. How about noting significant details? Was the reading text also informative? Were you able to identify a problem-solution relationship in the text? Here are some problem-solution relationships found in the story. In reading numbers problem, Emma is unsure how to read the number 1234 displayed on the board. Solution: the teacher explains that it is read as 1234 by breaking down the place value of each digit. Understanding an echo. Emma sees an experiment involving an echo but does not understand what an echo is. The teacher demonstrates by clapping hands and explains that an echo happens when sound waves hit a surface and bounce back. Correcting mistakes. Emma makes mistakes while reading numbers. Solution: with the help of the undo device, Emma is able to correct her mistakes and try again. To deepen your understanding of the text, write 5 sentences about Emma's learning journey by using the high frequency and content-specific words you learned. For the reflection, I learned in today's lesson that blank. I realized that understanding and using high frequency and content-specific words are important because blank. Read the story and identify the high frequency and content-specific words used. Tim wanted to learn about air pressure. He got a balloon and blew it up. He tied the balloon and held it tightly. He released the balloon and watched it fly around the room. Tim noticed how the air rushing out made the balloon move. The balloon fell to the floor when all the air was gone. Tim learned that the escaping air created pressure, pushing the balloon forward. This simple experiment showed how air pressure works in a fun and exciting way. For your assignment, think about a lesson you learned in science. Write a short paragraph about your topic. Make sure to write with clarity of ideas and opinions. For day 2. Can you still recall the story about Emma? Now, before we read the story again, let us talk about your experiences when you heard an echo. What does it sound like? Did you enjoy listening to an echo? Why? Today, you will learn about words with a special pattern called VCCV. These are words that have a vowel-consonant-consonant-vowel arrangement, as in the word once or echo. So you have to note those words found in the story. Afterwards, you will draw conclusions about the story based on the information, details, and events presented in the story. You will also practice reading sentences accurately. Are you ready to find VCCV words, draw conclusions, and read sentences found in the story? Let's get started! Before we listen to the story again, we will first work on unlocking some words that are found in the story. These words will help us understand the text better. Listen carefully as I read each sentence. You will choose the correct word from the box to complete the sentence. Let's start. Found, echo, undo, before, and once are the choices. For number 1, when I shouted in the empty gym, I heard an blank. 2. He used the eraser to blank the mistakes she made in her drawing. He blank visited a magical place filled with wonders. Blank we start on this project. Let's check if we have all the necessary materials. We blank a solution to the problem after hours of brainstorming. Now let's check each answer together. Echo means repeated sound caused by the reflection of sound waves from a surface back to the listener. Undo means to erase or remove something that was done mistakenly or incorrectly in order to correct it. What is the answer in number 3? Once means one time or on one occasion in the past. What is the answer in number 4? Before means earlier in time or prior to something else happening. Found means discovered or came across on something after searching or exploring. Great job, everyone! Now that you already know the meaning of these words, you will have a better understanding of the text. Do you recall the amazing story Emma's Science Adventure, The Magic of Numbers and Echoes? You will have the chance to retell this fantastic story using the pictures provided. But before you listen to the story, let's talk about how you can be great listeners. What are the things you should do when listening to a story? Retell the story using these pictures. A young girl holding a device along the school corridor. A young girl looking at the board with the numbers 1234 written on it. A young girl watches her teacher clap her hands, so the sound produced echoes in the room. A young girl reads numbers 6785 on the board. A teacher telling a student to break down the numbers 6785 like this. 6 is in the thousands place, 7 is in the hundreds place, 8 is in the tens place, 5 is in the ones place. What is an echo and how does it happen? How does the special device that Emma has helped her with learning? What did Emma learn about the number 1234? Why is it important to understand each digit's place value? What kind of experiments do you think Emma will do next? What did Emma hear when the teacher clapped her hands in the experiment? Echo. How many times did Emma's teacher clap her hands? Once. What should Emma do to fix her mistakes and try again? Undo. How did practicing with the undo device affect Emma's confidence in reading numbers? What do you think Emma's journey through numbers and science teaches us? Read the words on the board. What word pattern can we find in the words echo, once, undo? Let's find out. Echo, VCCV pattern. Same as well with once and undo. Give examples of words with VCCV pattern. I will show you a strip of words Clap your hands if the word has a VCCV word pattern and shake your hands if the word does not have a VCCV pattern. Clap, edge, make, axle, Emma, trap, into, onto, frog, undo, once, neat. Let us practice using VCCV words and some basic sight words in sentences. Before you submit your assignment, make sure to undo any mistakes you have made. Elsa decided to walk along the edge of the playground, moving fast to catch up with her friends. Mike walked into the classroom to give her teacher the 8 books she borrowed from the library. After fixing the broken axle, they decided to wash the car again to make it shine. Emma found 5 shiny pebbles while exploring the beach. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate VCCV word to complete the sentences. Choose the words in the box. Here are the choices: undo, Emma, edge, echo, into, and once. Number 1. Loves learning about science in her classroom. 2. When she shouted in the empty hallway, she heard an blank. She stepped blank the lab, excited for the experiment. Emma stood at the blank of the table to get a better view. If Emma made a mistake on her homework, she used an eraser to blank it. Now, let's go back to the questions about the story. Read the sentences. How did practicing with the undo device affect Emma's confidence in reading numbers? What do you think Emma's journey through numbers and science teaches us? How will understanding place value help Emma in her future studies? What does Emma's excitement about learning suggest about her character? Remember, there are some answers to the questions that are not directly found in the story. Instead, we use information and clues from the text to draw conclusions. I learned in today's lesson that blank. I realized that there are VCCV word patterns that I can say, read and write like blank. To draw conclusions in the story, I need to blank. Read the story and answer the questions that follow. In a small classroom, Miko loved to solve puzzles. One day, he found a challenging math problem on the board. 2,345 plus 6,789. Miko wasn't sure at first, but he remembered his teacher's lesson about adding large numbers. He carefully lined up the digits and added them step by step. After double-checking his work, Miko proudly announced the answer, 9,134. Miko realized that math was like solving puzzles. He learned that with practice and patience, even difficult problems could be solved. Miko's journey taught him that persistence and careful thinking were key to mastering math skills. Look for a short text to read then. Practice drawing conclusions by writing sentences that explain what you think happens next or what the text implies. For day 3. Do you and your siblings have any favorite activities? How do you usually prepare for a fun day together? Have you ever worked on a project or task with your siblings? How did you plan it? Today, our lesson is packed with exciting activities to help you become even better readers and writers, especially when it comes to understanding signs. You will practice identifying and reading high-frequency words. These are words we see often which help us understand stories and instructions better. Next, you will learn to use vocabulary-specific words in relation to signs. This means that you will learn new words that scientists use, like photosynthesis and soil, to describe the natural world around us. Today, we will read a story about the science of planting seeds. Before we start reading, let's unlock some important words found in the story. I will show you some pictures and let's find out what their names are. Let us match these words to the pictures. For the pots, weeds, sprout, watering can, and photosynthesis. Which picture represents pots? Weeds, sprout, watering can, photosynthesis. Place each word under the picture. Now, look at the pictures. What does it mean by pots, weeds, sprout, watering can, or photosynthesis? Pots are small containers used for growing plants. Weeds are unwanted plants that look like grass that grow in a garden and take nutrients from the plants you want to grow. Sprout, it is the first small leaf that comes out from seeds when they start to grow into plants. Watering can, it is a container with a spout used for pouring water on plants. Photosynthesis is the process plants use to make their food using sunlight, water, and air. Now that you already know these words, let's read the story and see how these words are used. Are you ready? Let's begin. Do you still remember the story about Emma, a student who loves to learn math and science? Today, you will discover other things that Emma loves to do. Listen attentively as I read the story carefully. Take note of the discourse markers used and the important details in the story. The science of planting seeds. Emma and her brother Max are going to learn how to plant seeds in their garden. They have all their materials ready: seeds, soil, water, and small pots. First, they pull out the weeds from the garden bed. It's important to keep the soil clean so that the new plants can grow better. Next, they fill the pots with soil and make small holes in the soil. Both Emma and Max try to make the holes the same size to ensure the seeds will grow well. Then, they place one seed into each hole and cover it lightly with soil. Together, Emma and Max carry the watering can and gently water the seeds. It's important to water the seeds regularly, but never too much, or they might rot in their place from being too wet. Finally, they place the pots in a sunny spot where the seeds can get plenty of sunlight. Sunlight is crucial for photosynthesis, the process plants use to make their food. After a few weeks, they see the first sprouts coming up. Emma and Max feel proud of their work and try to take good care of their plants every day. They learn that with proper care and patience, they can grow beautiful plants together. Now, let's check our understanding of the story by answering the following questions. What materials did Emma and Max have ready for planting? What did Emma and Max do first in their garden? How would you explain the importance of sunlight for the seeds to a friend? If you were planting seeds, what steps would you take to make sure they grow well, based on what Emma and Max did? Now, you will write the details of the story about how Emma and Max plant a seed using a graphic organizer. Let's get started with some questions to guide us. First, write down what Emma and Max plan to do. What did Emma and Max plan to do? Now, list the materials they need for planting seeds. What materials do they need for planting seeds? Next, think about the steps they took. What did they do? First, second, third, and last. Now, I will let you read your work aloud. Who would like to share? Let's look for some of the important details in the story using another graphic organizer. Here are some questions which will guide you in this activity. First, think about the main idea of the story. What is the story about? Then, identify the key information you need to know about planting seeds. What are the things that you should know about planting seeds? Let us read the steps on how Emma and Max plant seeds. First, they pull out the weeds from the garden bed. Next, they fill the pots with soil and make small holes in the soil. Then, place one seed into each hole and cover it lightly. Finally, place the pots in a sunny spot where the seeds can get plenty of sunlight. Look at how these sentences are presented. What have you noticed? Correct. We use the discourse words first, next, then, and finally to show the step-by-step procedure on doing something such as planting seeds. Now you know how to recognize discourse markers and how they help us understand the order of events in a story. Keep practicing this skill, and it will make your reading and writing easier. Now let us think deeply about the story of Emma and Max, planting seeds. Find a partner, answer the following prompt. Think about your answer and write down your ideas on your paper, and share your answers when you are done. Imagine you are Emma or Max. Write about a problem you face while planting seeds and how you solve it. Describe what you would do differently if you were planting seeds with Emma and Max. Why is sunlight important for plants during photosynthesis? Write about how sunlight helps plants grow. Now, let's share our ideas. Wonderful thoughts, everyone! For the reflection, I learned in today's lesson that blank. I realized that discourse markers like first, next, and finally help me blank. I discovered that sunlight is important to plants because blank. Read the story and accomplish a graphic organizer. The signs of making a volcano. Anika and Miko decided to create a model volcano. They gathered baking soda, vinegar, red food coloring, and a small container. First, they put the baking soda in the container. Then, they added a few drops of red food coloring. Finally, they poured in the vinegar and watched the eruption. What task or activity are we explaining today? Write the task at the top of your graphic organizer. What materials do we need to complete this task? List these materials in the materials section of your graphic organizer. What is the first thing we need to do to begin the task? Write this in the first box under steps in your graphic organizer. What do we do next? Continue listing each step in order. Write each step in a separate box under steps in your graphic organizer. Why is each step important? What happens if we skip a step? Write the importance of each step in the corresponding box under Importance in your graphic organizer. So here's the graphic organizer should be like. For your assignment, describe the steps you would take to clean your room and explain why it is important to follow these steps. Share your answers with the class. For day 4, can anyone share the time when you plant seeds or take care of plants at home or in a garden? Did someone help you plant seeds? How did you prepare the soil? What did you learn about how plants grow? Today, we have another exciting lesson where you will work on some important skills. You will read high frequency and basic sight words. Recognizing them quickly helps us read more fluently. You will also read again the story. While you read, pay close attention to the details so you can draw logical conclusions from the text. You shall continue to learn procedural text types. These texts give us step-by-step instructions on how to do something. Before we listen to the story again, we will work on unlocking some words found in the story through context clues. These words will help you understand the text better. Choose the correct meaning of the underlined words based on how they are used in the sentence. Use your drill boards to write your answers. John likes to carry his backpack to school every day. A. Bring. B. Eat. C. Run. You're right, the correct answer is letter A. Bring. The family loves cooking dinner together on weekends. A. Early. B. Quickly. C. Collectively. Very good, it is letter C. Collectively. Sarah likes to clean her room before starting her homework. A. Read. B. Tidy. C. Sleep. You're right, the correct answer is letter B. Tidy. Tommy never forgets to feed his pet fish in the morning. A. Not ever. B. Sometimes. C. Always. Very good, the correct answer is letter A. Not ever. With practice, Sarah's soccer skills are getting better each season. A. Worse. B. Faster. C. More than good. You're right, it is letter C. More than good. What does carry mean? What does together mean? What does clean mean? What does never mean? What does better mean? Great job, everyone! Now you have a better understanding of these words and how they are used in each context. This will help you as you listen to the story again. Remember the story, The Science of Planting? You will have the chance to retell this interesting story using the pictures provided. But before you listen to the story, let's talk about how you can all be great listeners. What are the things you should know and do when listening to a story? Retell the story using these pictures. Picture of a young girl and a young boy in the garden preparing the materials they need to plant seeds. Seeds, soil, watering can, and small pots. Picture of a young girl and a young boy pulling weeds in the garden. Picture of a young boy putting soil in the pot and a girl making tiny holes in the soil. Picture of a young girl and a young boy putting seeds into the holes and covering them lightly with soil. Picture of a young girl and a young boy placing the pots where they can receive sunlight. Why did Emma and Max pull out the weeds before planting the seeds? How did Emma and Max make sure the seeds would grow well in the pots? Why is it important to water the seeds regularly but not too much? What role does sunlight play in helping the seeds grow into plants? How did Emma and Max feel when they saw the first sprouts coming up? Now, you will be working on organizing and sharing details from the story. Let's begin. First, I want you to find a partner. You'll be working together on a graphic organizer to write down key details from the story. Remember, these details are important to better understand how Emma and Max planted their seeds step by step. Now, let's read the sentences with basic sight words from the story. Emma and Max never forget to carry their watering can when they plant seeds in the garden. In the garden, Emma and Max work together to clean the soil of weeds before planting their seeds. Both Emma and Max work together to plant the seeds. They try their best to make sure that the plants grow well. Today, Emma and Max carefully placed the pots in a sunny spot, ensuring the seeds would receive enough sunlight to grow, and they hoped no seeds would fall out. Emma and Max learned that by pulling out weeds regularly, their plants grew better in the garden. Let us recall the steps Emma and Max followed to plant their seeds. Who can tell us of the first thing they did? That's right, they pulled out the weeds to keep the soil clean. Why do you think it is important to start with clean soil? Now let's move to the next step. What did Emma and Max do after cleaning the soil? They filled the pots with soil and made small holes for the seeds. Why do you think they made holes of the same size? How does this help the seeds grow? Next, they placed one seed into each hole and covered it lightly with soil. Why is it important not to cover the seeds too deeply? After planting, Emma and Max water the seeds gently with the watering can. Why is regularly watering important? What might happen if they watered too much? Finally, they placed the pots in a sunny spot. Why is sunlight crucial for plants? What does sunlight give to plants? Based on what you learned, what do you think Emma and Max learned from this experience? What do you think they felt when they saw the first sprouts coming up? How did you get the answers to these questions? We call this process drawing conclusion. We use the information presented in the story to make sound judgments or interpretations about what might happen, why things occurred, or why the characters learned or felt. Or what the characters learned or felt. Let's discuss the procedural text type. If you can still remember, what makes this story a procedural text? What are the keywords? How does understanding procedural text help us in everyday tasks? Great job, everyone! Today, you practiced drawing conclusions from the story of Emma and Max planting seeds and explored how procedural texts work. Keep up the good work! For your reflection, I learned in today's lesson that blank. I realized that in drawing conclusion, we must blank. When speaking or writing a procedural text, I should use these keywords that blank. Read the story and complete the graphic organizer by identifying the step-by-step procedure of the experiment. Try to draw the process as well. In a cozy kitchen, Cora and June decided to grow their own crystals. They gathered a glass jar, string, water, sodium borate powder, and food coloring. First, they boiled water and mixed it with sodium borate until dissolved. Next, they suspended a string in the jar and left it overnight. Each day, they checked for crystal formation. Gradually, colorful crystals began to form on the string. Excitedly, they watched as their crystal garden grew. Lily and Ben learned that crystals form when dissolved substances cool and solidify. Leaving behind intricate structures, their crystal project became a shimmering success. For your assignment, look for a recipe book, choose a menu, and write the step-by-step procedures on how to make this menu.